Top loader. Brick doesn't really like front loaders. Like you have to do it for the dryer or whatever, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she doesn't like the front loading appliances because of her back.
Aha.
You figured it'd be the other way around, but maybe that's just because I'm tall. So like I have to reach down and bend and stuff.
Top loader. Well, it's that idea of like having to bend over that much to like get into the washer and the dryer.
Yeah.
It's like with this, you just have to bend over to put things from the washer into the dryer.
Okay.
It cuts down on some of that.
Yeah. It'd be ideal to have it like a side one that's above the dryer, so you can just open it up like a microwave or something.
They do have like the two like together,
like the stack. Yeah.
But they're usually like kind of wonky, and they're for places where you don't have a lot of space.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They're not large, and what we need is something that's large enough for like a new comforter and stuff. Because we got a new comforter like a few weeks ago, and from Walmart, and washed it before using it because it smelled kind of funny, and immediately tore it.
Oh.
So we just put it back in the packaging and returned it.
Wow.
Well, So we need to get a new washer and dryer before we get a new comforter, I guess.
I see.
Sorry, I'm just tweeting out the stream. If I told you guys I have a moose head, what would you say about that?
I'd say you have a human head, stupid.
Sounds like either type of beer or some kind of cake.
Hey, you're right. It is a type of beer. It's a lager, actually.
Mm.
A lager.
I prefer lagers over beers.
I have apple cider mixed with whiskey.
Nice.
Nice.
Because I like to mix my alcohol with more alcohol.
You can't go wrong there.
Nope.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Charge Shot Gamescast. Each and every week, friends gather around, talking about things going on in their lives and possibly games. This week
Sometimes.
Sometimes
Maybe.
games. Today I have with me Justin.
Spoilers, I have games this week.
Fuck. You beat me. We also have Lo.
No spoilers. You're going to have to wait and see.
And you also have me, your host, Thomas. Justin, what have you been up to this week?
I'll front load it without the games because I already spoiled that there are some. So I've been talking about the saga of my internet and the new house over the last few weeks. And I can confirm that after about a week with my new Google Wi-Fi, it's real good. So
Nice.
I had a friend that came over Sunday and helped me set it up. It was a really nice day out, so we actually got out and took out all of the old cord that was wrapped around the house and stuff, about 30 feet or so. And basically there was a few spots where they had drilled through the foundation wall in the basement, to run cable and some electrical and things like that out of the house into the basement, which is conveniently in the room where my office is going to be in the future. So I wanted to have everything down there so that when I do get my office set up down there, I can just hardwire directly into the modem that's down in the basement. So we just kind of poked into the hole that was already there. It was filled with that yellow insulation stuff.
Oh yeah,
which is kind of gross. It was kind of funny because we're very close. We've been best friends since 7th grade. So nothing's weird to us. But I was outside my house, and we don't have a backyard at our house. It's basically there's kind of a fence line that goes across the property, and then we have kind of a little patio, like cement patio area off of here, off of my patio or off of my office right now. And that's where the property line ends. So you have to kind of hop into the neighbor's yard to get over to where our electrical box is and stuff. It's technically our yard. There's just no way to get to it without walking through theirs. So it's butt up to the neighbor's house, and I'm trying to find find what like to get through into the office down there. And so I had this like kind of metal, like long metal stick thing that I was poking through the hole, and he was in the office like on the other side. And I felt like a wiggle on the other side of the stick I was holding. And I got excited and yelled out, "I feel you feeling me!"
Oh no!
And I half expected our neighbors to like poke out the window, like, what are you doing?
Oh, the
But
new neighbors. So
they
here we
tend to
go.
keep to themselves. Yeah, my wife was doing some yard work over nearby, and I just heard her go, "What the?" I was like, "Sorry, we got the cord through. Don't worry about it." But yeah, just two dudes feeling each other through a hole. Don't worry about it.
Feeling each other's cords through holes.
Yeah. So it was actually really easy to get the hole in because I had taken the ceiling and everything out down there. So it was just kind of, a fresh, like, stripped room. Like a 12-foot cord with room to spare down there now. Modem and one of the Google Wi-Fi pucks sitting on a window. And then I synced the other two super easy. One's in the living room with our SmartThings hub connected to it for all the the smart lights and stuff around the house. And then one is right next to me on my desk with an Ethernet into my computer. So technically my computer is Ethernet hardwired to the internet. But it's a wireless puck that creates a mesh network with the other ones. So it's wired, but it's wireless. But because these are range extenders, it's basically I'm getting the full internet. There's no degradation basically with the Wi-Fi signal to my computer. Mm-hmm. So as long as there's no degradation from the mesh network, I'm getting full speeds, consistent. It's been great for the last week. I've been streaming. I downloaded some games and stuff like that. It's super quick. We've had no issues, no buffering or anything like that.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm really happy with this setup. I read some reviews saying that it's not a true mesh network. I don't even know what that means, so I'm good. And I'm fully invested in the Google network with my Pixel and all. Nice. All you have to do to set it up is you just put them where you want them. Plug in each one, go into the app, select sync next. It finds the one you're connecting to. You select the room that it's in, just for identification purposes later, if you want to test the network and things like that. And then it's good. They find each other, and they're all in the same network, and that's it. It's done. Nice. You can do a network test from the app. Obviously, I recommend doing a third-party one too, because surprise, surprise, people's own data centers can lie. But doing a test from the actual app showed I was getting 121 megs per second, and I pay for 100 meg internet. Mm-hmm. So pretty good.
Yeah.
Considering that it's all set up, it was supposed to be 100 meg internet, and we were getting 10.
Significant improvement.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's been fun to play around with. I've been trying to do some online stuff all week, but the main things I've been playing, to move on to that, I was stuck at work for a little bit, bored, trying to find more mobile game stuff. I mentioned I played Oddworld Stranger's Wrath last week, and I had a little more time this week. I looked into the Dragon Quest games, but all I heard was that the mobile ports of those are terrible. But I still had that itch. So I got home and downloaded the 3DS port of Dragon Quest VIII and played some of that. I'd never played any Dragon Quest games before. My first one was going to be 11 when it comes to Switch later this year. But I figured I should just kind of get a little crash course. And I heard 8's kind of the most modern classic one, if that makes sense. It was originally a PS2 game, but it's still it shows you the characters when they attack. It's not all you see on the screen is monsters, which I hate. I was raised on Final Fantasy. I like to see my characters with the upgraded weapons and stuff as they get them, fighting the monsters on the other side. It's just the way I am. There's a lot of backwards, old-fashioned mechanics in that game. The fact that when you get items and things like in treasure chests, they go into kind of a communal bag, and you have to transfer the item to a character in order to equip it to that character.
Oh.
You can't just like, if you go into the equip menu and it's like, where's like I just bought this weapon, where is it? And like you have to go into your bag, transfer it to them, and then you can equip it. It's really weird, and I hate it. And so like they can only use healing items and things that are in their inventory, not in the bag. And it's weird stuff like that. That definitely feels like this is an old game that they modernized. It's also very text heavy. If you don't like go around and talk to everyone, you'll get lost. Like it does not, guide you where to go. I got to the world map for the first time after the first little town, and I just kind of wandered around for a while because it's a little too close on the 3DS. I don't know if it's resolution or if they just zoomed it in too close, or if they, it's the way they changed the world map, so it's not like an overhead like 2D view anymore. But all the enemies are on the map running around after you, so I just kept running into random battles instead of trying to figure out where I'm supposed to go. Because I was looking for a waterfall, but you can't really tell where it is on the map, so I was just kind of wandering aimlessly, getting into battles, and then like I wrapped all the way around to the area I could go because I ran into some enemies that were too strong and had to back out. And eventually got over to the waterfall, and I was like, oh, okay, that was like a straight shot. I just went the wrong direction. So it's one of those games. I like it. It's probably not my first choice of RPG, but I've kind of had a hankering for an RPG recently, so it's still scratching that itch. One of my friends, the one that I touched tips with on Sunday, texted me earlier. He's like, I've had an itch for Pokemon that Let's Go isn't scratching. I think I got to whip out my 3DS again. And I'd been having a similar feeling, but I thought maybe this would like scratch the itch instead. It's not, but I don't really feel like getting into any Pokemon game, so I think I'll just continue playing this. Aside from that, I also we'll get to in the news later the Nintendo Direct, but for reasons related to that, I picked up Crypt of the Necrodancer and its DLC because that's a game that I probably should have played a long time ago and just never got around to. Not really sure why.
Nice.
It's super fun. Like I played it one night and like could not put it down for like 4 hours. It makes me understand the appeal of roguelikes. Like that's how good it is.
Ooh.
Because it's not like traditional ones where it's just you run it over and over again, hoping to get a better run, like 20XX and things like that. You actually do get stronger as you go. Like when you go around, basically it's a rhythm game. So you're kind of doing everything to the beat. You move squares, you attack enemies. They also move to the beat, moving squares and attacking. I'm sure everyone knows the mechanics of this game, but as you go around, you can basically kind of dig the terrain around you, and some blocks of terrain have like hidden items or gold or diamonds in them. And each run, after you die, you go back to kind of a little hub area, and you can spend your diamonds before you jump back into the next run. And those diamonds are used for either better equipment in the treasure chests. So like you might, the first time you run out, there might be like a plus 0.5 armor that you can get in the chests for like 2 diamonds. And then the next time you go out, there'll be like a plus 1 armor in the shop that you can get for like 6 diamonds. So like the amounts increase, but the improvements also increase.
Nice.
And there's also permanent upgrades. So like you can get more heart containers that you always take into the runs with you. And some other things like that, like better gold multipliers that you can afford the more expensive things in the in-run shops. And so a lot of it just comes down to getting a good run still. But like that progression system means that you're kind of guaranteeing a better run the next time you go in. So it still gives you that sense of I'm getting stronger. Sorry, I'm having some allergy issues. So, yeah, like my first few runs, I was garbage because I didn't really understand the patterns of the enemies or anything like that. I was just trying to figure out how the game works. I actually ended up going casual mode and ditching the main character and going through to one of the side characters called the Bard, who doesn't have to worry about timing the jumps to the heartbeats. Because her whole thing is like she's undead, and this necromancer, whatever, has revived her, but she has to keep with the beat to stay alive. And so it's like whenever you get off beat, you lose your coin multiplier. And there are some like weapons and things like that their damage output is based on your multiplier currently. So like it really does incentivize you to keep with the beat. With the Bard, you don't have that like heartbeat beat with you. You still, you only jump with the beat. It's just if you miss it, you don't lose your multiplier or anything. The only way that happens is if like you hit a block, like you try to attack a block that can't be hit, then it'll like make a noise and you'll lose your multiplier. But yeah, I couldn't play the game normally. I'm sorry. You'd think since I was in choir for like 5 years that I would be better with rhythm. But the problem is like it's struggling too many things. It's like you're trying to, stay with the beat as you go, and you're trying to get the patterns of the enemies, because there's some that like can only be hit from the side. So you have to like make sure you're kind of going around them to get them from the side before they hit you on the front. Some have like multiple hearts. You have to like kind of, like jump in on the off beats, slash, and then jump back before they hit you, jump back in, slash, kill them. Like there's golems that hit like every third beat or something like that. So you can go like hit, and then jump back, and then hit, jump back. Things like that. Or like mushrooms that like shoot a fungus cloud every like fourth beat. So like when you're kind of creeping toward them, you have to wait. Like if you see them puffing, you can't move forward again, or you'll get in the blast of their cloud. So it's really tricky, things like that. Like there's dragons that like shoot laser beams whenever you get like in line of them, and you have to like hit them from like above or below, since they can't shoot in that direction. And it's like it's super complicated. So it's hard enough for me without having to match the heartbeat. So I've been enjoying it with the Bard though. Like it's one less level of difficulty, so I can actually just get into the rhythm of the game itself and like the attack pattern and everything like that. Man, it's super fun. And I can't wait for the Zelda. I guess it's a sequel. I don't know. It's like spin-off, sequel, whatever. It's a new game, and I can't wait for it. Is the point?
Looks cool.
And from the trailer with that, it looks like it doesn't necessarily have the heartbeat mechanic. So I don't know if there's some other thing that like encourages you to keep with the beat, or if they're going more the Bard route and just kind of making it about like moving to the rhythm instead of having to. Or maybe it's an optional thing. I don't know. I don't see them like making Zelda and Link have to keep with a heartbeat, but it could still be some kind of like bonus or something. I don't know. So yeah, that game has taken a lot of my time. But like the night after I finished playing it, I started to think about like the potential that the game mechanics and things like that has for the Zelda franchise with this new game and everything. And so like I went to bed that night like with a new video idea swirling in my head. So I gave up on games for the rest of the week, and I've just been working on a little opinion video. It's like 10 minutes. It's nothing major. It's audio only because I've been kind of sick and I didn't want to deal with that. But yeah, I'm hopefully going to knock that out soon. But it's kind of related to Crypt of the Necrodancer because it's been my obsession. If you can't tell from talking about it for like 10 minutes. But that's most of what I've been playing. I feel like there was something else, but I'll think about it while you guys go. I can't remember right now.
Cool.
Lo, did you play video games?
I played a couple, yeah.
Okay.
You want to hear about them?
No.
I personally
Too
don't.
bad. Too bad. Well, yeah, I've literally been playing a couple of games this week. Well, first of all, non-game related thing. I finally saw Into the Spider-Verse. Super cool movie. Loved it. Yeah, it was really awesome. We rented it the other night, and yeah, really, really cool. The animation, just the whole like style and everything, the blending of styles. It was just the way it came together. Miles Morales also too. He's on my radar for cool superheroes for sure. But yeah, other than that, I got into some Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. They added like a photo mode, so I was kind of jumping around, jumped in there, messed around a little bit. They got some cool like filters and features and things. It's kind of weird that they're adding features and stuff like that, just considering like how long ago the game came out. But I don't know, whatever. Also, just a quick little side note. I noticed I saw this little I saw article just saying that they're making like a free to play version for like the consoles, which is interesting. I guess it's kind of like have like certain missions accessible for free or whatever. You can still like join other people who have the full game too, so that's kind of neat. I don't know, maybe we're just trying to get more people to play it. But anyways, played some of that. Just try to do some offline grinding and stuff because there are just certain things you have to do single player, which is kind of weird. It's like, oh, you can't do that when you're in a team, but I don't know. There's a lot of weird things about this game. It's janky, but I love it. But so I played that, and then I also played. I got really into this other game. I don't know if I feel like Ben might have talked about it at some point earlier on in the show, or maybe I did. I don't know. Either way, it's called Crosscode. Really cool action RPG. It's kind of like action RPG, bullet hell, twin stick shooter, kind of like blend of those sort of genres. Really cool. Combat's really snappy. It flows really well. It's just difficulty spikes really early on too. It's just kind of like it's like you have multiple different enemies. They all have different attack animations. Some are ranged, some are not. So you have to kind of like juggle between like going between range combat, close quarters combat. Super fun game though. I'm just kind of in the grinding phases, just trying to get my stats up and all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's a game it's been sitting in my library for a while, and I just noticed it. I think it was September last year. They actually released the 1.0 version because I bought it. It was one of those early access titles, and so like the game like literally like wasn't finished. So I was like, oh, I don't want to like play through the game if it's like not done yet. I don't want to like hit a wall and like, oh hey, sorry, the game's not done. This is where it stops. So
what was the game? Crosscode?
It's called Crosscode.
Okay.
It's it has a really cool like pixelated style. It's kind of like 16-bit, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah, 16-bit. Really
It's
really
like,
fluid animation.
It's like oh Christ, what is it? I had it in my head and now it's gone.
Sigma Star Heroes or something? No, that's not the game I'm thinking of. No. I think I know what you're talking about.
It's kind of like takes inspiration from like Zelda, Secret of Mana, games like that. Sort of as far as like just kind of like general style and stuff. Combat's like a whole nother level though. It's pretty crazy. It's really fast. It's just like really you can't button mash your way through combat. I mean, I guess you can, but it's just really interesting. And it's also kind of cool because there's like combat mode and then there's like not combat mode. So like you can sort of chain together kills, and the more enemies you kill, you can that'll increase your chances for like rare drops and stuff like that. So it's like, oh, so if you like go through like a kind of like gauntlet of enemies, it kind of like makes you have to like memorize kind of like where like groups of enemies are placed. Because one weird thing that this game also does is it's kind of like the game within a game sort of thing. Like the whole thing is you're playing as like some you're playing as an avatar of somebody who lost their memory or something like that, and they're playing through the game to see if they can regain their memory. It's kind of weird. It gets kind of strange. It's kind of like it kind of a little bit like Dot Hack.
Yeah, Dot Hack.
Yeah. God. Cool game though, but it's really interesting because like the game within the game, it's like an MMO, so it like kind of simulates sort of an MMO to some degree. Just like there's a crap ton of side quests. There's also just like NPCs running around in these kind of like sort of like common areas. They're supposed to be like high level characters ignoring you because you can't interact with them or anything like that. But it's all pretty cool. They have some pretty diverse looking avatar looking characters. It kind of makes me wish this game had like a character creator of some sort. You can like at least like change the appearance of your character to make it look, more unique or something like that. Because it's a silent protagonist kind of thing. So I mean, it's kind of like within the story, like they explain why they're a silent protagonist. But I thought it'd be kind of cool, like just be given that it would be kind of cool if there was a character creator. Who knows? Maybe they'll come out with a sequel at some point and they'll have something like that. But What I've played so far, really cool game. I've heard some things about like the dungeons, how they can be kind of a grind, but I guess there's like checkpoints throughout them and stuff. So we'll see. One another thing that this game does that's really interesting. It's kind of like there's a lot of puzzles and stuff like that because you can your ranged attacks. You can either do like a really quick attack. It's kind of like a quick fire sort of thing, or you can like hold down the button and do like a charge shot. Haha. And those kind of shots, they actually bounce off of walls and stuff. So they have like really cool like puzzles, like you have to hit a certain switch, but it's like way up here and you're like down here, and you have to. And there's also like verticality to a lot of the maps, so it's like you can like jump on boxes and go up certain levels and things like that. It's really cool. They really thought out like the system, and like they really built like all the puzzles and like all that kind of stuff around the mobility and this kind of like sort of twin stick shooter sort of mode. So it's a really fun game, having a lot of fun with it. I hear there's a lot to it content wise, so I'm looking forward to diving more into it and just getting some really cool abilities and stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been playing this week though.
Can I jump back in before I forget what I was playing again?
No.
Yes.
Okay. So also I'll keep it quick. First, I played a little bit more Dissidia.
Oh, nice.
And I realized that I'm just not good at it. Like, I understand mechanically how it should work. Yeah. I'm really not.
Or is
like,
it the game?
I tried, well, it does seem a little funky, I'll admit that. But I tried to just do like some of the offline, like, just regular matches.
Yeah.
To do some of the challenges and things like that, like I said, to unlock characters.
Yeah.
And one, it was confusing because I did like 5 matches, and it said I completed a bunch of challenges, but I could, like, after I got out and got back to the menu, I couldn't find where the challenges actually are. So I don't know what I completed. And I don't think I got any rewards for it. So yeah, there's some goofy stuff in there. But also, like, I did some of the, like, there's a certain mode that is just like destroying the enemy's crystal before they destroy yours, and like the other characters are kind of like ancillary to this type of mission, because it doesn't matter if you take them out or anything, you just have to take out the crystal. But then sometimes the crystal is like guarded and you can't actually hurt it, and I don't really know how you hurt it, but then like it just becomes available and you can start doing HP damage to it again. I don't know all the mechanics of the game, but yeah, anytime it actually got to like, me against another character and not just attacking their crystal, I always lost. Like I would die, come back, and then like, okay, let's do it again. And I don't get it. Like, I understand how it should work. I just can't do it. So I haven't like uninstalled it or anything. So I figure if you wanted to play, then maybe we could do that without me failing terribly. But I don't think I enjoy playing against the computer, and that's the only thing you can do in that mode. And then on the realm of games that I didn't enjoy, I made a big deal about downloading Grid 2 while it was free. And okay. I got like 3 races into that, and then just immediately uninstalled it.
What didn't you like about it? I'm just curious.
I think I just don't like technical, realistic racing games. I want my racing to be like floaty and unrealistic, like in Grand Theft Auto and Need for Speed. The fact that like I didn't understand how drifting worked, because it's like, you have to kind of, I guess, brake or let up on the accelerator while you're going around turns, and it's still like really wide because obviously you're going fast. It should be. But I want my cars to handle the same at 50 miles an hour as they do 200 miles an hour, because that's more fun.
No, you're right. You're right. Yeah,
that's more your speed.
And so, like, I even tried you do like the story mode, and you're locked into like the class 1 cars or whatever. So I jumped into like an arcade, just like regular random like time trial race or whatever, so that I could use like the class 4 cars that came with the DLC. And I jumped in with my like Aston Martin, driving around my James Bond car. I did some cool customizations to it, which weren't great. I'll say that also. The customization system in the game is not that fully fleshed out. And I jumped into just a regular arcade match. The Aston Martin just still felt real hard to control. Like a class 4 car that should have been, zipping around on the roads. I just kept running into the guardrails and flipping over and having to, undo my or go backwards in
Oh, the
time or whatever.
flashback.
Yeah. So yeah, I respect the game. It's just not for me. So I uninstalled it immediately.
I had a feeling you would.
Yeah.
I couldn't get into it too much either, so don't worry about it. I after playing it, I was like, I kind of want to play Burnout, so I played some Burnout.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess I'm more of an arcadey racer myself.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up with Need for Speed and like Cruising USA and Rush and like those,
I remember
like they're
Rush.
racing games, but they're very like arcadey and you can zip around corners without any problem.
Yeah.
So yeah, those were the other ones.
So I've been playing. Guess what? Guess what I've been playing?
Does it rhyme with Destiny?
That's not even a word, but yeah, okay. Yeah, two.
Destiny do? I'm trying to think of a word that actually rhymes with Destiny.
I don't think there is one.
There has to be. Because orange rhymes with door hinge, and everyone says that orange doesn't rhyme with it.
No, orange doesn't rhyme. That doesn't. No.
Like the only thing I can think of is a phrase, like like Destiny manifest a bee, But that's not a word. That's a phrase. No. Again, it's a nonsensical phrase too. So
yeah.
No, I don't think there's anything.
Vasectomy.
No, there you go.
That's not
kind of.
Yeah. No, it does.
If it was in a rap battle, I'd give it to you. But I wouldn't say those actually rhyme,
Yeah, no, yeah. It's close enough.
Anyways, yeah, Destiny 2. The only thing I'll talk about this time is I finally did the Last Wish raid, which was the raid for Forsaken. And this was I think it was actually a bit easier, but a bit longer than the first raid for Leviathan. Because Leviathan had you more, like, figure out what to, like, everyone had a role to play. And this one, I kind of I was the new kid in the raid, so all I did was handle ads. Like all I did was shoot ads the whole time. I didn't have a role to play, which was I'm fine with that because I'm the new guy, and we just wanted to get through the raid while I was hunting eggs. So I just ran off and hunted eggs while the guys did the raid. And yeah, it's a bit longer. There's a lot more encounters, a lot more boss battles throughout that raid. The first part's pretty cool. You stand on plates to debuff the boss, kill the boss, run inside your safety shell, and then she explodes the whole arena, and then you run out and do it again if you need to do it again. But yeah, essentially the whole point of the raid is to save these tech witches by shooting them a whole lot with our guns.
You save them by shooting them?
Yeah, you save them by shooting them. You shoot them enough times and then they become back to being awoken.
Are you shooting them with bullets of savior?
I don't know, man. Oh, I also got Thorn, which by the way, the bullets for Thorn look fucking sick. You can actually see them before they despawn, so if you shoot a wall or something, they look like just giant daggers that you're shooting at people. It's ridiculous.
Oh, nice.
Like the Needler in Halo?
I think they're bigger than the friggin' needles in Halo, but yeah. Thorn is a sick cannon, by the way. I worked on that this week.
Nice.
If you shoot someone with it, they'll take damage over time, but also if you kill someone with it, you pick up their soul, and that gives you a buff to your gun for more damage, and more damage over time. So, you never have to reload it if you keep picking up the souls that your enemies drop when you kill them.
Yeah.
So
it's cool mechanic.
It's pretty sick cannon, man. You can also shoot through enemies with it. It has a penetration on it. So
I was gonna say, yeah, nice.
Yeah, you can line up people, penetrate them. Also, you don't even have to be inside the blights to destroy them with that gun. You can just stand outside the blights and shoot them, which is pretty crazy. Yeah, sick gun. Go and get it. It's great. So yeah, did Last Wish. I fucked up the end boss for that one, because at the end I was supposed to do like a damage over time attack, which I didn't have on my character, and I didn't realize it until like 3 or 4 times after we wiped, and I was like, oh guys, am I supposed to use the bottom or the top tree? So yeah, there's a lot of things in raiding that I don't know about, but I played this game for 1,000 hours, so like, I just don't raid. I do everything else but raid. Yeah, I want to get back.
All I do is raid every day.
Yeah, so I want to get into some more raiding, get more familiar with that. And I've also been playing The Division 2. I got a sweet tap dance for my character, by the way.
What?
It's an emote. Tap dance emote. Yep. There's only like 3 or 4 dances in that game, and you have to unlock them or buy them. And I got the exotic one, tap dance. Pretty sweet. Yeah, that game's still really hard on your own. One of my clan members, he suggested that I just join his game and then like play with him to like level me up faster. But I'm playing with some people already, so I'm like, I don't know if I want to out-level them and then like make a second character or do something like that. So I opted not to cheat the system and just play on my own level. Yeah, that game's super fun. He also suggested that I use the Hive, which is like this electronic device thing that you throw out, and it could do multiple different things, but it can also revive. So if you crawl next to it, it can revive you, which is really helpful. So if you're gonna die, you just throw it down and then you revive. Yeah, it's really handy. So I got that. I'm basically doing buff like healing for myself, just because like no one else is gonna heal me. So
That's sad.
Unless I'm with someone. My cousin just got the game, so we might have a 3-man group.
Maybe if they had actually released it in a not confusing way, more people would have it.
He's got a point there.
It wasn't.
I would have it if it was actually out.
It is out. It is out. What the fuck
it wasn't when
about?
I cared. I just mean I wasn't gonna like get the the beta access, early access, or whatever like that. I just wanted the game to be out, so it's out for real now. I didn't know that because it's so confusing.
I told you when it was out. It was like the 15th or 15th.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's confusing. No, is it out for real? I thought it came out on on next Tuesday or something.
It came out a week ago.
Okay.
That's why I took my vacation, because the 15th is when it came out.
Well, that's still super confusing.
It's not confusing. You just need to
graphically speaking, like how does it look visually compared to the first one? Is it like better, worse, or the same?
I think well, in my memory it's the same, but it's probably better. Yeah.
Probably better.
It's probably better. I don't know, but my brain says it's the same.
Are there any decimated monuments that you've walked through yet?
Oh, I went through some of the museums they have there. So like the airspace museum. I don't know what the hell it's called. I went through that. It's pretty sweet. Like there's like space shuttles and like Mars landers and stuff like that. Yeah, like airplanes and stuff. So like there's all these crash things around you while you're fighting, which is pretty sweet.
That's pretty cool.
There's also like the history of like radio or communications or whatever. So you're fighting through while like all these old radios and TVs, and you can see it evolve throughout the time. So it's like it's pretty cool because like DC has a bunch of museums and stuff like that. So
it's like a big what if scenario.
Do they have the Holocaust Museum in the game?
I don't know.
I feel like that would be a little distasteful.
I feel like that would also be distasteful as well. I agree with you.
I mean, it's a really interesting museum, but they shouldn't put it in the game.
Right.
I have no idea.
I'm sure they put select things in the game.
Is that on the west or the east side of DC?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I went for a school trip, so it was just like we went where the bus went.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Was the Holocaust Museum inside Fallout 3 or no?
Probably.
I don't know. I don't remember that, but it's been so long.
I guess that was DC, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Everything looks so different and brown. I couldn't identify things.
Yeah, I've just been playing more of that. That's just my time. That's just my life now. Is just playing these games.
You are the games of service man.
I am. I am the service that I am.
Is
the
it a
service.
different crisis as the previous one, or is it like the same like kind of outbreak?
It's the same thing. It's just that it wasn't able to be contained within New York, so it got out.
Same thing, different location.
Yeah,
that's cool. That
like you literally start in New York, your first mission, and then you get a call that's saying, "Hey, these coordinates are infected. Go over here and do this thing." Like the story is like. The story is basically non-existent, pretty much. Like, there is story and there's stuff that happens and stuff, but no one really gives a shit. Like, the guns feel great. Modding the weapons is pretty sweet. Yeah, I'm constantly changing up my playstyle because I don't know what I want to actually stick as, because I've been using sniper rifles, shotguns, LMGs, and yeah, those all feel really good to play it with, so...
I remember in the first one, the gun feel was pretty good. I was a marksman rifle kind of guy, and then because assault rifle is my secondary usually.
Yeah, I like the shotguns because when they try to run up on you, you just blast them and they go flying.
Those melee dudes that just rush you, yeah.
These melee dudes like get hopped up on meth and run at you with clubs, and you're just like, "Fuck you!" Bam. Yeah. Yeah. So that's I'm just playing that stuff. There's more cool story stuff happening in Destiny with the emissaries and stuff like that, but I won't talk about it here because that's a very in-depth lore discussion that you can go watch on My Name Is Life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with that out of the way, let's get into news topics.
Ooh.
Yeah. So there's a lot of news. And Thomas doesn't care about like any of it, so he's just gonna sit back and probably play Destiny some more.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And we're gonna talk about the news. I want to jump through a bunch of kind of the quick stories to get to the meat, you know?
Sure.
So let's start with pizza, because who doesn't like pizza? You know,
I have pizza sitting right next to me.
Exactly.
Pizza.
See, I even got Thomas interested. That's something. So last week we talked about how a bunch of fans were sending 343 pizza, and I guess thanks for putting the Master Chief Collection on PC or something like that. And so they responded by putting a pizza skin in the Master Chief Collection, or no, sorry, in Halo 5. This is an old story. I forgot already what happened.
Which isn't in the Master Chief Collection, by the way.
Right. Halo 5 is not, because it's the newest game. All the others will be. But yeah, it's pretty funny. It's not a good skin. It's nothing, really. And I don't think you can even get it anymore. I think this is like over already.
It was like a one-day thing, yeah.
Yeah, but I just wanted to talk about it because it's funny and it's pizza. So yeah, it's called The Last Slice or something like that. Yeah. And I guess it applies to any gun. It's a pepperoni pizza skin to make all your guns just that much more delicious. Yeah, any gun. And it just basically adds like a flat like pepperoni pizza texture to your
Absolutely wonderful.
Which modders have been doing in other games forever. Because what game doesn't look better when it's covered in pizza, you know?
Right?
And someone that also probably likes pizza, Sonic. I don't know. This is the best I could come up with. So we got some news from the, what was it, like a South by Southwest panel or something like that? Yeah. From Sonic about the new Sonic Team Racing game. And they also announced a new kind of like limited animated show thing based on Sonic Racing called Sonic Racing Overdrive. I don't know if this was an internet only or like what is this exactly? You put this here.
I'm pretty sure. I believe it's internet only. It should be on the official Sonic the Hedgehog YouTube channel, if I'm not mistaken. but it's the same people who animated these shorts, because there's already one out. It's like a minute or two long. It's actually pretty entertaining. It's the animation's nice too, but speaking of the animation, the same people who animated this did the animated shorts for the Sonic Mania animated shorts, which are also pretty good. The nice thing about these two is that there's no dialogue, so it's just all stuff happening, which is probably for the better. Just I don't know. I just that's how I remember Sonic. Just no dialogue, just things happening on screen.
No cringe like voice acting.
Right, exactly. No, right.
I mean, Sonic hasn't been good since Urkel voiced him, so you know.
That's true.
But yeah, so I just thought it was cool, and we got to see it. There's also in this article, there's a short little customization trailer too for Sonic Racing, which looks neat. So I guess that's how they're gonna make the game interesting. Even though it's just karts, you have all the different parts you can swap out. It looks like they changed the appearance of your cars too, which is nice. And they changed stats
are they
too.
just visual?
No, they're not visual. They have an effect on performance as well. So,
okay, cool.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like what the Mario Kart games have been doing recently.
Cool. Yeah. And so I mean, yeah. They're very much taking inspiration from Mario Kart. So I'm just looking forward to seeing more about this game, because I feel like there just hasn't really been much out on it, which is surprising, just because I feel like we should know all about it by now. But
yeah,
I don't know. Yeah,
it comes out next month or something, right? I thought it was April, but no, I might be getting that confused with Crash Kart.
May 21st.
Okay.
Yeah, so in a couple of months.
I think Crash might come out next month.
I think you're right. Yeah.
I don't know. I can't keep track.
Either way, though, it's just nice to see some more information on the game.
Agreed. But I don't have a segue for this.
Now it's my turn to sit back and laugh at you.
Shut up.
Transition.
But things that I didn't need any more information about. Call of Duty Mobile. A new free-to-play game that brings together maps, modes, weapons, and characters from across the Call of Duty franchise to your mobile devices. Because you have phones, right?
Don't you guys have phones?
I actually watched that clip for the first time ever. I'd only seen the memes and stuff.
Oh, did you?
Man, that guy was condescending.
Yeah.
Everyone's just booing him. He's like, "What? You have phones, don't you?"
He knew he was in a no-win situation.
Care.
And he's
he was in a no-win situation.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah,
he's smiling.
Damned if you don't.
What a dick. Anyway, this is Call of Duty on your phone. Yeah. It shows off Nuketown as one of the maps, which, of course, I mean, if you're going to dive into the history, you put out Nuketown. It's the most iconic Call of Duty map ever. I know it, and I don't even play Call of Duty. Granted, part of it was because we did a tournament, a midnight release tournament for, what was that, Black Ops 2 at Walmart when I worked there. So we had it set up, and they played on Nuketown. But still.
I might be in the minority, but I absolutely hate Nuketown. It's the worst. It's such a small map.
I was never into Black Ops in general, so I know of Nuketown. I've played it a couple of times. I think I played Black Ops 1 and 2, but then I was like, I don't need this.
It's such a small map, and there's nowhere to take cover. It's ridiculous.
It feels like Rust, kind of, but more colorful. Yeah, because Rust is also another small map for Modern Warfare 2.
Oh, okay.
For the uninitiated.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I saw the trailer. I was like, okay, yeah, it's Call of Duty, but are they actually really playing that well? With touch controls, or they got some gamepad situation going on? I'm assuming they do, but I don't know. That's one thing that I feel like is probably going to trip this game up. If anything, is the touch controls. I don't know. I feel like it's for any kind of shooter that's on mobile.
People do it with Fortnite.
It's true. So I don't know.
I mean, there's precedent here. And guess who's making this?
Epic.
Anyone? Nope. It's a mobile game. Who's making it?
Oh, Tencent.
Yep, there we go. Being made by Tencent, because of course it is.
Because why wouldn't it be?
Yeah. Also, in the trailer, there was a tease of zombies, so there will probably be some kind of zombie mode, of course.
Yeah.
Tencent doesn't make new things; they just take what already exists and regurgitate it in mobile form.
Dump
So
money
I'm
into
sure
it.
this is going to be a greatest hits of all your favorite Call of Duty games things
Oh, yeah.
in mobile form.
It'll
So,
be popular in China.
yeah,
I'm sure.
and it's free to play. So I mean, there's that. Like,
Right.
you can check it out. It's not a big deal. But I find it funny because there's been like that offshoot Call of Duty series that's been on mobile for years now.
Yeah, yeah. I
So-
forget what it's called, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. And so now it's like that seems to be the trend. It's like all of these things exist, and then the studios that make those things, like the mobile versions of things, will get tasked with making the real thing, and it's the same as what they made before, just with the official skin on it. Like that was
Yeah.
the big deal with the Diablo thing that we're making fun of. That like Diablo Immortal or whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Is like such a clone of other things that use that same style, but on mobile.
Right.
And it's being made by the same people. It's like, okay, you just skinned this with actual Diablo stuff. This looks the same. But whatever. Let's move on. Speaking of things that'll probably be the same, Bethesda has released the first information about their showcase for this year.
That's
The last few years, they've kind of just done their like amusement park, and they like show whatever, as part of their amusement park. And I'm sure it's gonna be that again. Like,
probably. I mean,
what do they even have to show?
I don't know. Doom Eternal?
Last year they had a really good showing, but then shit happened.
We're definitely
They
not
had
seeing
an
anything
okay
on Elder Scrolls, that's for damn sure.
No, we're not.
No.
I mean, maybe we'll see like Skyrim for mobile or something, but or no, they do have that like Elder Scrolls Blades that we haven't heard about since last.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
E3 or whatever it was.
That's
I
right.
think I have that
Maybe we'll see some of
pre-ordered on my phone.
Yeah, I do too.
that. Nice.
But the picture they have for it, it's June 9th, save the date, whatever, blah, blah, blah. No one really cares. When E3 happens, you're just going to watch it. It doesn't matter when these things are.
Right.
The picture that they show has like Doom Guy, the little demon monster thing from Doom.
The Caco Demon.
Whatever. It has a giant butthole. That's
Yes,
all I
it
can
does.
look at right now. A trio of shadowed characters. I can't even tell what they are. Like a robot dog or
I
something.
think those are just people.
Yeah. A lot of no one, basically, just people. And then there's a dragon up there. There's like a guy in like shonen armor with horns. Maybe a Elder Scrolls thing. And then there's what I assume is dog meat. I would have guessed that nothing in this image, except maybe the Doom stuff, is like actually related to what they have to show.
Mm-hmm.
But their tagline is "Be Together." So whether that means they're like showing off some more like online focused stuff, or if they're doing their own Smash Bros with all the Bethesda properties.
I was gonna
Who
say,
knows?
this is
Doom
gonna
Guy
be the
beats
most
everybody.
epic crossover. All their games in one game.
They own a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
true.
yeah, we'll see. Bethesda's continuing to support E3, unlike a lot of studios that are dropping out. So
I'm
Oh,
surprised they're-
somebody with the wing stick from Rage. That's
oh
what
yeah, I
that
forgot
thing
Rage
is.
is happening.
Yeah, it's that little swirly looking thing. I thought that was like a tail at first.
Glaive?
Like, is that full of a tail? No, it's like they call wing sticks in Rage, but it's a glaive. Yeah,
Probably that whole group is Rage related.
I'm assissuming so.
There's
yeah.
like the guy with kind of the bow looking thing or whatever it is.
I
next
keep
to him.
forgetting about that dang
Right.
game.
Yeah, me too. Because it just looks so not Borderlands,
Yeah,
Like it looks like Borderlands, but not Borderlands.
right.
Which, speaking of, it's not on here, but there's news that we're going to get a bunch of announcements from the Borderlands studio. What are they called? Gearbox.
Gearbox.
At PAX East in a few weeks, or in like
Mhm.
less than a week actually. So I'm sure we'll report back on that next week.
Mhm.
But speaking of news that is barely news, Hellboy characters are coming to Brawlhalla. Remember that?
Oh, that game.
So yeah,
Flash
Ubisoft.
Bros.
Ubisoft. Ubisoft.
Ubisoft.
I don't know why it's weird.
No, Ubisoft
bought Blue Mammoth, who made Brawlhalla, and since then they've just been like shoving random licensed characters into this game, even though every character in this game is basically the same thing. So now there's
Shots
over
fired.
40 characters, I guess, in this game,
Yeah.
and it also includes Rayman, who's a Ubisoft character. And now they're just randomly throwing Hellboy characters in too to promote the new movie coming out. So you've got Hellboy, the Blood Queen, Gruagok, some boar thing. I don't even know what that is. And Ben Daimyo, who is a jaguar. So yeah, this is real random, and I don't really care. But I thought it was worth mentioning because
it would be cool if Brawlhalla actually had unique characters with unique powers and movesets and shit. But it's not that deep. You have different weapons and stuff that the characters have, and
there's like 5 specials have all the characters here.
Some of them have different like animations or like visual effects, but they're all it's all mostly the same stuff. And it kind of sucks because it looks like a great game. I mean, we've played some of it before, and it's just, I don't know, it's just kind of shallow in that aspect, I played
the crap out of it when it was like 12 characters, and I thought that they mattered, but then I quickly realized that it was a lot of the same.
That they don't really.
I liked it before they made it a free-to-play model and just rotated characters.
Yeah, and now they locked away all the characters that I liked, and I can't do it anymore. But it's just weird that they're still supporting Brawlhalla like this.
I guess people are still playing it. I don't know.
I remember I had my my like Twitter anniversary or whatever last week. That was like 4 years.
Yeah.
And I remember like playing Brawlhalla with like you, Thomas, and like
Sushi.
Metal Blade and a few others. Yeah, Sushi Funk.
Yep.
Like back when I first met everyone.
Same. Yep.
Like close to 4 years ago, before it was actually out. And like this studio, I don't think has done anything else. They've just been.
I think Brawlhalla has been a huge hit for them actually, because like
no, a lot of people play it. I think there's like tournaments and stuff for it too. There's like a professional scene and all that kind of stuff.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like when I look at like I don't look at lists all the time for active players for games, but whenever I do, I always see Brawlhalla in like the top 5 or 10. It's ridiculous.
I think it's just because it's so low. It's such a low spec friendly game. Like everybody can download it, and it's just it's close enough to Smash Bros. Without actually having the depth of Smash Bros. Per se.
It's just really accessible.
Say, it's good enough. Yeah. Like I personally like now that Justin told me about Rivals of Ether, like I'd just rather play that game. Just because it's the characters.
There's like 10 characters that are all tightly designed.
Right, with their own move sets and stuff like that. I mean, it takes them a while to add characters and things like that, but they got to animate. They got to actually animate the sprites and things, and
they have to make them unique
and balance them. Yeah, so, but I don't know. I mean, if you're looking for like a closer Smash Bros. Experience, play that game. If you're looking for like something else, play Brawlhalla.
The one thing I would give Brawlhalla credit for is pretty much anyone can pick up and play it.
Yeah,
because like I said, there's only like 5 different types of characters.
Yeah.
So that's the amount of movesets you have to learn. Other than that, it's like, animation differences.
Yeah, there's skins and things.
So there's that.
Yeah.
And I like Hellboy. Like, I'm excited for the new movie, even though the trailers haven't really sold it that well. So this is cool that they're getting this high-profile crossover. It's just weird. Speaking of weird announcements... there is a sequel to Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines coming out. I don't know if you know what that title is.
I remember that was a thing.
Yeah, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 was just announced at GDC 2019. There's no gameplay footage shown, but there was a CG trailer and a title reveal saying that it is in development by Hard Suit Labs, which I've never heard of. And it's set to launch in 2020.
Hardsuit Labs.
That's about it on that. I don't even know. Like, I never played this series, I guess.
I just heard things about it.
Yeah, I've always heard about it. I bought it, never played it. It's just one of those things that's always been around, but I've never went and tried to play it.
Heartsuit Labs did Blacklight Retribution, which is like a free-to-play Call of Duty-esque sort of game. I don't think it's even a
that was
thing
okay.
anymore.
I've heard of that.
I remember one of their things was like the gun customization, but it was really microtransaction heavy. I remember that was one thing, but other than
really
that,
cheap.
they're also their logo flashes up for Killing Floor 2, which is a game that started as a mod, and I think if I'm not mistaken, Vampire the Masquerade started as a mod too, so maybe they have some sort of specialty in turning mods into actually standalone games. I don't know. This is weird though. It's just like I remember like this game being talked about like years ago, and then like nothing. So it's just kind of weird to have it pop up out of nowhere, you know.
But people were like super excited about this reveal.
Yeah, I mean, there were some people that were really into it. I guess it had like a pretty a nice cult following or whatever it is. So yeah, that's cool. More vampire stuff for the vampire lovers out there. So
Sure. Vamp's gonna vamp, whatever.
Yeah.
And the final little bit of like quick news here, before we jump into the stuff that I feel like all of us probably care about more. CD Projekt, I guess it's called.
Oh my god.
Whatever. I'm gonna say it like an American. CD Projekt Red is going to be revealing another game soon. And their goal is to have 2 games out by 2021, including Cyberpunk 2077.
Ambitious.
And they said that the other game they're revealing is also going to be another AAA game that will reportedly take place inside the world of The Witcher, but the fans shouldn't expect The Witcher 4. So whether it's like a Witcher spin-off or like a Gwent sequel, which I don't think would be a AAA title, I don't really know. But it sounds like it's a new title, not more like Witcher 3 DLC or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be cool to have like a spin-off of it.
So we'll see. Maybe it'll just be like another, like they were working on more DLC for Witcher 3 and then they decided to make it a fully fledged game instead.
Yeah.
So it's like it uses the Witcher 3 engine, but it's a full game or something. I don't know. But yeah. So I guess the Cyberpunk 2077, which has already taken like 10 years to create, is going to be accompanied by another game in the next like 2 years.
Ambitious.
That's kind of weird. Yeah. But also, I don't really care.
My concern is,
cool, but
yeah, my concern is like just that, like since it's taken so long in development, like there might be some things that are like that were just like the thing at the time, like to put in the game, and like I don't know. Hopefully, the overall quality of the game doesn't suffer as a result of it. I don't know. Who knows?
Everyone that's seen that game so far have only said good things about it. So
yeah, I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah.
To me, it looks like the Deus Ex game that everyone's been waiting for. Like the last Deus Ex game didn't really scratch that itch for people. Yeah. So maybe this will be what that should have been. I don't know. I'm gonna wait for reviews, but I actually am curious about it.
Yeah.
Speaking of things I'm curious about, we got the actual trailer. I mentioned before that we didn't have any footage from it. We got the actual trailer for the VR kit of Nintendo Labo. And it looks super cool.
Does it, though?
It does, conditionally, with an asterisk. Like, all of the things that most of the things that they showed off are, like, actually really impressive. Like the different games that come with the gun have a lot of depth, and like the way that you can like move different parts of the kit to like zoom in or slow down time to like aim better and things like that are all really cool. And like the elephant, the one that I thought was going to be dumb, like is used to make 3D art by like moving around the trunk to paint. And like it's also used in like some cool 3D puzzle games where you basically just have like a kind of a rotating arm that you can use to like grab parts of the environment and like move them to where you want your like ball or whatever it is to go. Like there's a lot of really interesting depth there that I didn't expect. I just assumed it was going to be like a weird little like pouring water into a fountain from a elephant trunk or something. The only ones that looked kind of dumb, like in collection, were the wind pedal or whatever it was called, and the bird. Because like those are kind of used together in a lot of ways, and like you pump the wind thing to like make your bird fly higher, and then you just like hit a button to make the bird wings flap to go forward, and it's kind of simple and cheesy. And the camera looked very simple, but I like the prospect of that. Like everyone's saying, "Oh man, we need a Pokemon Snap sequel," and yeah, we do. I'll agree with that. But also, it's just like going into basically any game and being able to take pictures is really cool if you can share them. And then there's even just like the new Toy-Con garage.
That's like the only thing that actually looks good in this.
Like the old garage had a lot of potential to it, but like was very limited in that you couldn't really create objects and things like that. Like you couldn't texture things. You had very limited object stuff, and it was more about like combining like acts together that already existed in the game. But this one looks more like a fully fledged game creator, where you like drop assets into a world and like make your own, game that you can navigate in a VR space, and that's super impressive.
The shitty game looks fun too.
The amount of tools in this game is crazy. There's like 64 games included in this collection.
Damn.
And considering not many people, it seems like, have really gotten VR right. Like, if this doesn't look terrible, because it is a 720p screen, we'll see. It's probably going to be the most impressive, like, cheap VR tech out there. Because the only thing that you compare it to is mobile. And mobile VR sucks still. Let's be honest.
This just looks like they looked at the last few years of VR games and then just like made their own version of what was already out there. Like all this stuff has already been done.
But it's all included.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, there's nothing about this that seems revolutionary other than the garage stuff, which does look pretty cool. But, like, yeah,
but
everything
the
else
tech
is
pretty cool. Like the fact that it's not just like, looking around and everything. Because if it was mobile, you would be using like the Google Cardboard, or there's cheap, like $5 to $10 like plastic VR headsets, and you'd just be looking around at things and maybe have one trigger button. But like I said, the elephant thing, like that is a fully fledged like 3D paint.
Yeah, there's been paint games for Oculus, PlayStation VR, Vive.
Right. Those are like $300-$400 things. This is accessible level VR that actually has like button prompts and things like that. I'm saying this is comparable to mobile VR.
I
the $5 to $10 headsets that you just slot your phone into. This isn't comparable to the multi-$100 sets. That
I don't think it's comparable to mobile either, because mobile's, like you said, $25 for a Google Cardboard, and it doesn't really do a whole lot.
But this is more on that scale.
It's more of a middle ground, I'll give you that.
Yeah, it is. But I'm just saying, like, this is for the kids, which is also what mobile VR is for. Like the PlayStation VR, Oculus, things like that, they're not for the kids. They're for the adults that want like Skyrim and Doom and Resident Evil 7, like those kind of VR experiences. And also they'll dabble in the other stuff. And if they have kids, they'll let those kids play the other things like Moss and stuff like that. Beat Saber maybe. But the things that are catered toward kids are those mobile experiences. And this is going to revolutionize that idea, where it's like, oh man, this is what VR can do, and it's going to blow their little minds.
I don't think it'll do anything to mobile VR.
We'll see. I think it might. Because the other Labos have actually done fairly well. I mean, enough to put out more.
Yeah, for real.
The only issue I could see is that the screen resolution sucks. And all the reports I've seen of like people doing hands-on demos have said it's not that bad. Like whatever they do to this technology, like the way the actual like quality of the screen, like regardless of the resolution, you can see the pixels, but it doesn't like have the screen tearing issues and things like that a lot of mobile VR has, even with better quality screens. It's just, large pixels in your VR experience. but it's not like sickening or anything. So whether they like smoothed it out or just have high refresh rates or what, like they actually did do a good job of developing it, apparently, so that you don't really care about the fact that it's low resolution. And kids don't know anyway. But the final thing I wanted to say about this, I don't imagine anyone else cares as much as I do. And I'm not going to buy it. I just find it fascinating. I'm probably not going to buy it. I might. Let's be honest. They have a brief little shot of like, I think it's maybe the camera mode or something, on the VR, and then another kid with like some like goggle things with like motion dots on it, like the motion capture artists wear, and then it goes into a game where there's like a guy with big glasses and big eyebrows, and you're like shooting at a target, like that thing is the target, and you're like shooting balls at it. And that's not like that. It's the only time they show that. But it's like, is there actually some kind of motion tracking technology in this VR kit?
Oh yeah, you're talking about the dude with the mask with the balls on his face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like that's super impressive if so.
That might be part of the garage stuff where like you could probably use motion tracking or something for some of the animation.
I think so. But again, that's really cool.
Yeah, that is very cool. Yeah.
There's a lot of really interesting stuff there. And like this is the kind of like weird, dumb little gimmicks that the Switch was built for. Like the IR camera that everyone was like, why is this included? Like they could have saved money by dropping that. This is why it was included. All of these goofy little games, like the piano in the old kits. The piano uses the crap out of that out of that IR thing. The camera uses the crap out of that IR thing. The camera is pointed straight out, where the IR is what's visible. And that is a camera, so I guess technically that could be motion tracking. That's true. The gun uses that too. So it's like, this is the kind of stuff that all the goofy little features in the Joy-Con were specifically developed for this stuff. So I'm kind of curious how it's going to pan out. But we also don't have a price or anything on these things yet, I don't think.
It's coming, let me check my email. But it's coming out April 12th, one day before my birthday.
Well, happy birthday. Get yourself a VR kit.
No. I already have a VR. I just want Res Infinite 2. That's all I want.
I remember that game.
I want to experience my emotions and sound become light. I don't know. Some weird shit that happens that I can't explain. Anyways, we can move on. Speaking
of weird things that can't be explained, there was a new Nindies showcase, which I kind of talked about earlier when I was talking about my games. And probably the biggest announcement that came out of this was that Cuphead, an Xbox exclusive, is coming to Nintendo Switch. I don't know how this is possible, except that Xbox and Switch are friends now.
Guess so, yeah.
They're like playing together on Minecraft and stuff.
Have you not seen all the ads that they've had for the past 6 months?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like, this is a legit like console exclusive. Like, that's crazy.
It was on Steam. I guess you mean console exclusive.
Was it on Steam?
Yeah, it was on Steam. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I thought it was just on the Windows Store because I know people played it on PC, but
yeah.
Okay, well that's not that weird, but still, it's pretty weird. Like, they're bringing Xbox Live support to the Switch with this game.
Crazy.
Yeah, they said they were going to do that, and now they're doing it.
I know, but it's like, we kind of speculated that, like, oh, what are they going to bring over? It's going to be, like, Rare Replay and, like, blah, blah, blah. But, like, I don't know. Cuphead is not what I would have expected. It's great.
Wasn't that in one of the news stories we talked about a couple weeks ago, or a week ago? Or that was
I don't know what I talk about.
All right. I do have Canadian pricing on the Nintendo Labo VR if you are interested.
Oh, sure.
So for Nintendo Labo VR kit, $100. That's Canadian.
So like $70, $80 for American, probably.
I guess. Starter set plus blaster is 50. Expansion set 1 is 25, and expansion set 2 is 25. So there you go, Canadian pricing.
So they kind of rob you with the expansion kits.
Hmm.
Because you could buy everything together for less than all of that total would be.
That's why they want you to buy that one thing.
Yeah, I guess so. So yeah, anyway, continuing with the Nindies, since I guess Cuphead wasn't as big of a deal as I thought it was. The internet made it seem like it was a big deal. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I know. I looked at Twitter, I was like, oh my god, guys, like, really?
Whatever. So you like bananas?
Yeah, they're alright. Yeah.
Bananas are pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
So we also got like a full gameplay trailer for My Friend Pedro, which I thought was about bananas, but it sure looks like a cool like shadow complex like shoot 'em up type like gunplay side scroller game.
That's bananas.
That is noticeably lacking in bananas, except for the fact that yes, it is bananas. Like the game itself looks pretty bananas. Like, no bananas in that trailer, and that's kind of disappointing. Aside from that, I'm just gonna kind of scroll through this video because there's some stuff I didn't care about. If you guys, want to shout anything out, let me know. But the next thing that looked really cool to me was the Red Lantern, which may or may not be like a survival type, like one of those like the forest and things like that.
Is this on PC?
Oh, I don't know. Let me look it up real quick.
Because I think I might have seen this before. Yeah, it looks pretty neat.
Red Lantern. No, it's not on Steam.
Okay. Sorry, I just...
This game does look really cool, though.
Yeah, it has a really cool visual style. And if it's just survival... I don't want to say survival horror, but if it's just like one of those survival games, I probably won't like play it, but it seems really cool. So, I want to shout it out.
It seems like a game where they expect you to play it multiple times, because one of their things I remember they said was like, oh, every time you play it's going to be different, because it will be like random events, like a bear attacks you, or like there's an avalanche or something like that. So visually the game looks really interesting, and it sounds like they're trying to, kind of pump some replay value into it in that sense. So
yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Next, I'm gonna kind of skip around through this Indies Direct because like there was a lot of cool stuff, but if we talked about everything, it would be 25 minutes on just this topic. The next one I wanted to talk about was Katana Zero, which just kind of looks like a cool like ninja side scroller game, and I'm kind of a sucker for those. They're hard, but I really like the visual style of this. It's got a cool like neon, like futuristic look. But it's also like a girl with a katana zipping around fighting everything. And even like the logo, it's like katana and then like zero has like all different colors. And, I'm a sucker for that word anyway. It's like my favorite. But
nice.
Yeah, it looks super cool. And I can't tell if it's like a Metroidvania type because it doesn't seem like she gets stronger. It looks more just like, level based. But
I think one of the things with this game is like, it's one hit and you die, but it's also like everybody else is one hit and they die. So it's kind of like one of those like skill things, which, I'm not sure if there's going to be any like progression per se. Yeah,
it seems more like a side scroller take on like No More Heroes.
Yeah.
Kind of a similar meta narrative and like that hyper color, colorful like weird aesthetic. Yeah, I'm digging it. After that, we have Rad, which is a new game from Double Fine Studios, which is Tim Schafer's studio, the guy that made Psychonauts, and Full Throttle, didn't he? Yeah. So this was like what I watched this without audio on my lunch break at work, so I kind of I jumped around a little bit, and this was the first thing I came into the presentation watching. I'm like, what is this game? And then I showed the title. I'm like, yeah, this game looks rad. But but it's kind of got like a cool like I'd say it looks like Torchlight. But you can like evolve different parts of your body, and it changes your attacks and things like that. So it's like it shows you with like a snake head, like headbutting everything, and then it shows you like with like bionic legs, like jumping around everywhere and like running really fast, and then it shows like pooping an egg or something, and like growing wings and flying around all over the place. And I have no idea what this game is, but I mean,
It kind of reminds me of Death Spank a little bit.
What
I
is
don't know
that?
if you've ever played that. It's kind of like this, I guess. Like it's a action adventure kind of isometric thing.
I've never heard of it.
Okay, like you can move on. I'm just saying it looks like Death Spank, and it's a game that came out.
Someone's gonna feel like very spoken to with what you just said. But yeah, Rad looks cool, and it's coming out this summer. So like, I'm still not sure what it is. Like, if it's just a hack and slash, or if it's like a progression based kind of like Zelda top down game, or what. But we'll see. I am at least interested to see more. And then this one didn't really appeal to me too much, but I wanted to shout it out. It's kind of like a beat 'em up like sports kind of Pong game called Creature in the Well. So it looks like you basically like you're on a single screen and you're like you have a beam sword that you're kind of hitting other different balls and things with to try to like hit enemies and like stop laser beams and things like that. It's a little strange, but I feel like it's really gonna appeal to some people. It gives me kind of like Fire vibe, or what is that? No, is it Pyre?
Pyre, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
It gives me Pyre vibes, and that game did super well. So if it evokes that style, I'm sure it's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah. I like some of the art style with the depth that they were using, like this thing in the pit, the creature, and his arms come out. It's good use of depth there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's got a great art style. It's just not a gameplay loop that I personally would be interested in. The next one I wanted to talk about was actually announced at a past direct, but we finally got like some footage from it, and it's Pine, which again kind of looked like a survival game, like more than I expected, but it's got some really interesting like combat elements in it and things like that. It kind of looks like a low poly Zelda game in a lot of ways. Or like a third person Skyrim kind of thing, because like it shows you like exploring a big open map and stuff like that. This is another one that I wouldn't be surprised if it's also on Steam already, and I'm just now hearing about it. But sure, it's got some interesting adventure mechanics and things. I could also see it being awful, and they're just showing it off now.
Yeah.
Because it has that style, like that kind of like not quite polished style. But I personally like that. I think it's an interesting graphical look. But yeah. I don't know. I'm glad we finally got some footage from it, and we'll see how it goes. But I'm not like super sold on it. I just wanted to bring it up.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what the final product will look like, because it sounds like a lot of the stuff they're trying to do sounds pretty ambitious, like different tribes and things, different creatures, and they all interact with each other in different ways and stuff. So it is on Steam, but it just says available 2019. So
okay, so it's probably going to be a simultaneous release.
Yeah, it's been greenlit on Steam, so there's that.
Steam greenlight's still around?
Well, that's one of the things that popped up.
Anyone that was already in the greenlight program got to stay. They just weren't accepting anyone new.
Yeah.
I was just
got grandfathered in.
Yeah. Another fairly big announcement that came out of the Direct, which, again, I don't really personally care about, but is worth mentioning, was the weirdly titled Blaster Master Zero 2.
Oh, yeah.
I don't really understand this series, because it's a side-scroller, but then there's top-down elements that don't look that fun to play.
It's an old game that people have fond memories of. It's a side-scroller where you're in a car, you go around, you shoot stuff, then you hop out of the car and you do stuff. Like it's not, it doesn't hold up at all.
I don't know. Yeah, that sounds right. But I'm just saying, like, this is a new entry. Like, it's totally new.
Yeah, they
But
had. I think Zero was actually like a remake of the first one. I'm
it
not
was.
entirely sure. Yeah.
I don't know. It's from Indie
Yeah.
Creates, so I'm sure it'll be kind of hit or miss, just like all their other games. We also got the announcement of Stranger Things 3, the game, coming
Still
to
looks
Switch.
bad.
Which, yeah, doesn't look any better than the last time they showed it off, at whatever else that was.
Oof.
But sure, why not? And there was a brief announcement that Firewatch and Yoku's Island Express are coming, along with like a bunch of other indies that have already been released. Like, where'd that list go? It doesn't matter. It's fine. I saw like Awesome Tales and a few other things on there. The point is, they're like crushing the indie game right now, and they just wanted to, talk about that for a bit. But the final announcement is the one that I was most hyped about because it's kind of a big deal, and I won't talk on it too much because I want people to watch my video when it comes out in a few days, where I go over basically the same topic. But they showed off a trailer that looked like a sequel to Crypt of the Necrodancer, complete with like voiceover from that main character talking about like, oh, I finally got out of the crypt that I was stuck in. But what is this world? It doesn't look like where I've been before. And like you can hear the music kind of start to swell around then, and it's like, wait, no, this is remix of Zelda music. They can't use this. Why are they using Zelda music? And then it like she gets into the castle and it's like Zelda enemies, and then it just straight up like announces that Link and Zelda are playable in this game. And then it shows some footage of them and basically like, using like spears and bows and like fire spells and things like that, like, Zelda things, but like with that rhythmic, like bouncy mechanic. And then a title reveal of Cadence of Hyrule, Crypt of the Necrodancer, featuring the Legend of Zelda. So it's a straight up new Zelda game using the Crypt of the Necrodancer gameplay mechanic and like a whole new visual style that kind of blends the Necrodancer style with like 2D Zelda art. It's a beautiful game. Like, I love this art style. It honestly looks way better than Link's Awakening does. But yeah, this was a huge announcement because it's a straight up Zelda game during an Indies presentation. It's an indie Zelda game. That's weird.
Crazy.
But, yeah. Like, I was reading an interview afterwards that this came from the developers going to Nintendo about including, like, they, like I said at the beginning, they have a bunch of other characters, like the Bard, that you can just, like, switch out, as playable, and they each have, like, their own special abilities and things like that. The DLC brought in a few new ones, too. And so they ported Crypt of the Necrodancer to Switch, and I guess they had talked to Nintendo about including Zelda characters as DLC with like their own abilities and things like that. And Nintendo was just like, no, make a new game. Use our characters for that. So they did that, and here it is.
Cool
like,
stuff.
that's insane.
Yeah.
So yeah, they ended off their Nindies showcase with a new Zelda game. That's the world we live in. Created by like basically a one-time game developer that's only known for this one game. So cool. That's awesome. And it looks great. Like, I mean, if you're going to have a musical, like, rhythm-based game, you can't really do much better than Zelda music.
True that.
Yeah. And the remixes in this trailer were great, too. So that's the little Nindy showcase we got. There's a lot of great stuff in there, a lot of things we'd never seen before, and a lot of exclusives, which is super cool. And I think that was actually still probably at least 25 minutes, but whatever. And always the ones to do what Nintendo does. Sony has announced that they are starting their own series of little game announcement videos called State of Play. They are live broadcasts online that will reveal new updates and announcements for PS4 and PSVR games. The first episode will be shown March 25th. So, Monday?
Yes.
Monday.
Yeah.
At 2 p.m. Pacific time. So 4 p.m. for me. Cool. I'll be off work.
Nice.
So yeah, this is... I mean, no one's denying that this is just Nintendo Directs that Sony's doing. Like,
Yeah.
It's not a new idea. It's not like they're stealing the idea or anything.
Mhm.
But it's straight up Nintendo Directs from Sony. Let's not beat around it. But, you know, that's neat. More people should transition into this. That's one area where Nintendo was actually ahead for, years.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
cater directly to the fans and on their platform.
Yep.
Yeah. I remember like Xbox used to have a thing like that, and then I just don't think they did it
yeah.
right, Like,
No.
yeah.
No.
They were doing it,
wasn't into
and then they just didn't do it right, and then Nintendo like actually got it right.
What was
'Cause
it,
they were
Larry
caught.
Herb? They did something
Yeah.
with Larry Herb or
Yeah.
whatever. I was like, no, I don't care.
I
about this.
watched it every now and then, and I was like, yeah, this is pretty cool, but
Yeah.
I don't think it was ever on YouTube. I think it was only on their console. So,
Yeah, I think it was just on the Xbox
Yeah.
dashboard or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem. You have to actually put it on the internet.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, I guess that was a pretty quick one. I didn't know if we'd end up talking about it at all. And a pair of Mortal Kombat 11 announcements.
Ooh.
Ben's not here to gush over these with me, but we got technically 4 character announcements over the last week. Between GDC and then they had a C2E2 panel that actually Ben was at. He was live streaming some announcements from that, which was neat. And yeah, we got Kotal Khan and Jackie Briggs was the first one out of GDC. And it's funny because we only got one trailer for both of them. It was the Kotal Khan reveal trailer, but Jackie just like wrecked shop in his reveal trailer. Like, he didn't even get his own fatality. She did the fatality in his trailer and just ripped him apart.
That's funny.
But also, he's kind of a garbage character, so it makes sense. But yeah, she's been totally rebuilt. Like, I think I read somewhere that like 80% of her moveset was redone,
Ooh.
and she's great. She's like basically kind of a mix between like Jax, with like the arms and kind of the heavy hitting and like pounding the ground and stuff, and then like Cyrax, one of the robots with like being able to shoot out bombs and things like that, and like but hers create like barrier walls, and like kind of areas on the floor that like are like consistent damage, and I don't know. She looks really cool. Like, and she has some great costumes. I saw a lot of stuff on Twitter about like Jackie didn't come to play. With how great her costume changes and stuff are. Kotal seems kind of changed too. Like, he can turn into a cat now, I guess. Which, sure.
Cool.
But I didn't really like him in MKX. Like, a lot of his moves were based around like creating totems, and so like most of his special moves were passive, and I didn't really care about that. He would like take time to like raise his arm and bring down a ray of light, or create a passive totem that would like amplify his like fire ability or something like that. And it didn't feel like a good character build. But he's a little better. She's way better. And then we also got a reveal trailer for Noob Saibot. Saibot, sure.
Yeah.
Noob Saibot at C2E2 today. And he also looks great.
Yeah, he looks crazy.
Yeah, they introduced his shadow, basically. They kind of had it before, but it was never like a big deal. Like, they actually had like moves where you could kind of, make him like run out and tackle the opponent, or like do an air grab like while you're still on the ground and things like that. So basically, like you have kind of a two character fighting style with him, and they expanded that idea, and then also gave him like a death scythe because he is basically Mortal Kombat's death character.
Mhm.
And so there's some really cool like scythe combos. It just looks great. Like he looks more kind of like, you know, dark ninja than ever before. He was always just like a shadow, but now he's actually like got robes and I don't know, some depth to him. What a surprise! The character named after Ed Boon is really cool. But yeah, and then he had his fatality, which was just perfect. Like,
yeah.
he basically like rips a hole in the enemy, and then his shadow like bursts through the hole. Like, hey, I'm here. And then I say there was technically 4 characters revealed because they also showed off Shang Tsung as kind of the leader of the crypt. Like he stays in the crypt and watches over that. So it is confirmation that the crypt is back, but they didn't really show anything about what it is. If it's like actually an adventure mode type thing, like it was in MKX, or if it's just like an unlockable thing, or even if it's just, you know, loot crates. We don't really know yet. But they did show the crypt and that Shang Tsung's watching over it. But they also announced that he would be the first DLC character. So he is actually playable in the game. And even better, he's voiced by Kari Tagawa. I'm just going to go with that. I don't know the hyphen name. Who played Shang Tsung in the first movie, as well as he reprised the role in the YouTube miniseries. So basically, he's been Shang Tsung like in media for 25 years, and now he finally gets to like be the motion capture and voice and everything in the game, and it's just perfect. Like he is that character.
Mm-hmm.
So
Very
yeah,
cool.
that happy. But there's no gameplay trailer or anything for him. Just a face reveal, which is still enough when you have that actor. It was weird though, because like in what was the show? The new Lost in Space. He's in that, and like he's just like a dad.
Oh.
Like, doesn't have any facial hair or anything. He's got glasses, and he's just like hanging out like on Mars with them or whatever. And I'm like, that's Shang Tsung. He's a shapeshifter. Don't trust him. But he's just a dad. He's just a nice little dad. And even in this, like he's got like a sweet old good grandpa face,
Mm-hmm.
but he's an evil like blood drinker. You never know, people. You know. I guess this probably should have been included with the quick news, but who knows? We might have stuff to say about it. The Outer Worlds, a game that I think we're all excited for, has been announced as an Epic's game exclusive at launch. So it will be on Xbox, PS4, and the Windows Store alongside this, but it will not be on Steam. It will be on Epic Games instead. And it will be released on Steam, or it says on other digital platforms.
12 months later.
12 months later. Yeah.
Other digital platforms.
It's Steam. Like, come on.
Yeah.
And the comments is just people upset about that.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah.
But
I scrolled down a little bit, but I was like, I don't need to see anymore.
the only thing, like, it's dumb. I mean, why get that upset? It's still everywhere else.
Right.
But the only thing that makes it justified is the original reveal trailer for it had PS4, Xbox One, and Steam specifically listed with the logo. So it's a bit of a dick move.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know. This is the world we live in. The outer world we live in, if you will.
They should just add eventually.
Can we escape to the outer worlds?
Yeah. I mean, apparently there, Steam only exists 12 months later. So,
Right.
but I don't know. I don't really care. I'd probably get it on PS4 anyway, so it's not a big deal. But I'm just saying I understand the outrage.
Yeah.
It's just also
reasonable.
overblown.
Yeah. No, yeah. definitely.
But hey, it'll be a cool game, so who cares?
Yeah.
And we've got a pair of Sega announcements, which I guess I probably should have put with Sonic, but I'm bad at this. Thomas just made me do it. There's reports that the next entry in the Yakuza series is officially in development. Whether that's Yakuza 5?
I think it's just going to be a spin-off.
Or not. I was questioning if 5 is the next one.
6 was the last one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Came out last
Yakuza
year.
7, or if it's something else, is yet to be determined. But yeah, more Yakuza is coming. And they are currently casting the female protagonist. So if you were a budding voice actress and probably Asian, I assume that
Yeah, I don't think they do
then
localization.
check out open auditions,
Or
which is the first time they've ever done this for a main character. So
And you
hey,
can speak Japanese.
Yeah.
it could be the English.
There is no English.
They've only done, I think they only
Just
translated
text.
one of the games, and it wasn't great. It was like one of the
Oh,
early
really?
games. Yeah. They haven't done it since.
The Japanese voice
Alright.
acting is pretty good anyways.
It is pretty good.
I can't do it. I'm an American.
It is a lot of-
See,
it is a lot of
otakus
reading.
like me and Lo, we appreciate.
To be fair, there
body
is a lot
color,
of reading
shut up.
involved.
Yeah, is this like they said the main protagonist is a guy's name I'm not going to butcher, but is he like known in Yakuza? Like, is that a character?
Was introduced with that weird mobile game with the cards, I think. That's when they first introduced him as a
Probably,
Yakuza character.
I don't
But I think
remember him
this is-
from any of the other ones.
This is supposed to be like his debut as like the main
It's a new
sort
one.
of protagonist.
Okay.
Because I guess Yakuza 6 was supposed to be like the end of Kiryu's kind of story, from what I've heard. I don't know.
He
if
becomes
that's
a
true or
dad.
not. Yeah. So,
Pretty
yeah,
great.
so I mean,
Not him.
as long as there's like ridiculous dialogue and crazy over the top beat 'em up action, how bad could it possibly be? You know?
He looks like a tool, so that's
He kinda
that's
does.
the
I'm
Yakuza
hoping-
protagonist.
I feel like Kiryu's a tough act to follow because he's I don't know, from the Yakuza games. he's one
Kiryu
of
was like the straight man in a funny, weird world.
my- That's what I loved about him, though.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe he'll be some blend of like Kiryu and Majima or something. I don't know. But we'll just have to see.
hmm
We'll have to make him interesting, though. That's for sure.
All
The
right.
question is,
I
can he do
assume
it?
since like the character was decided and like they showed him off and everything that everyone knew who he was, but
No, it's a
I
new
guess
guy.
that's not the case. All right. And on the note of kind of the Yakuza universe, Judgment, which we reported on last week, will not be delayed as far as the Western release date is concerned. They have decided to recast the voice and face of the character that was removed. But it apparently will not affect the release date. They're just going to move through it pretty quickly. So that's surprising.
For Western audiences, anyways. It probably doesn't matter for Western stuff, but in Japan, it's probably a huge deal.
Yeah.
But still, it's due out in June 25th.
Yeah.
Like, that's a pretty quick turnaround to get the game gold.
You know,
It's not even done yet.
No, I think it was almost done. They were about to release it, and then that
Oh,
shit
yeah.
happened.
What's released in Japan? Okay.
Yeah. I
Oh,
think.
it's That's not
Yeah.
bad.
They stopped selling it for a while, is what they did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because of the whole thing.
Yeah.
that's true. Was that a main character? Or...
The dude with the leather jacket. I think so.
I don't know.
Yeah. I like how they, even in this article, like they have to include that the original voice actor was arrested for using a small amount of cocaine. Like,
Yeah.
how small was it? Like, but
But it
they
wasn't
also
like pouring out of his nose or anything. It was just, you know.
but I guess but at the same time, he's also, I guess it was, not that small because he's facing up to 7 years in prison, which is
They're
crazy.
very strict.
Yeah. Whew. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of companies that probably do small amounts of cocaine, Konami,
Only small.
in celebration of its 50th anniversary, will be releasing 3 anniversary collections that highlight Castlevania, Contra, and its arcade classics. So they're known for making quality titles 20 years ago.
Yeah,
Now
and then
they're known for
re-releasing them.
okay pachinko machines,
Mhm.
and bad ports. Because the Symphony of the Night port was not good. I really did want to play through that game again, but I can't do it.
Mm.
And so now they're going to be releasing full collections of their series that are probably also going to be awful ports. And they are going to digitally to PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. They will also include a bonus ebook that is packed with new information about the titles, including interviews with the development staff, behind-the-scenes insights, and sketches and design documents never before revealed to the public. The first collection available will be the Arcade Classics Anniversary Collection on April 18th, and it will cost $19.99. It will include 8 games from the 80s, so I probably don't know what any of these are.
How could you not know what Gradius is?
Well, okay, I know what Gradius is.
Okay.
I didn't realize the things in parentheses were the, American titles, I guess?
Yeah, English, yeah.
Okay, cool. Haunted Castle, Typhoon, also known as Ajax, Nemesis, also known as Gradius, Vulcan Venture, also known as Gradius 2. Were those not the same game? Were those not the same series in Japan? That's weird.
I don't know.
Life Force, also known as Salamander, Thundercross, Scramble, and Twinbee. Oh, I do know that one. I've never played it, but I do know it. So they've revealed all the titles that are going to be in that one because it's coming out first. Next will be the first Konami Castlevania collection. First is in quotes. So I assume we're going to be releasing more Castlevania collections after that. It will be available in early summer and is designed to be a completed collection around the origins of the historic franchise. So basically from the beginning through whatever.
1 through 3?
Well, they haven't announced all of them yet. So it will also feature 8 games, but they've only announced 4 so far. Castlevania, Castlevania 2 for the Game Boy, which is weird because there's also a Castlevania 2 on NES, I think.
I think this might be the Game Boy version.
Why?
I don't know, man.
Weird choice.
I don't know, man.
Weird choice.
I gotta Google this real quick. Just pause the podcast. We'll figure it out.
Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse?
Dude, yeah, Simon's Rex. That's what I thought. I've played that one. That's the one I played on NES.
Okay, then what the fuck was the GBA version?
Why? Maybe
This
this is only
Belmont's
4 of the 8,
Revenge.
so let me finish. Alright, Castlevania on NES. I guess I have to specify now. Castlevania 2, Belmont's Revenge on the Game Boy. Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse on the NES. And Super Castlevania 4 on the SNES. Those are the only 4 that have been announced.
Maybe Castlevania 2 Belmont's Revenge was like the canonical version or something?
Maybe. See, the problem is the Castlevania story is all over the place.
Yeah, it is. It's ridiculous.
So if they're trying to do the origins of the historic franchise, but the story is all over the place, because technically these aren't even the first 4, in the origin of Castlevania, as, a timeline. So that makes it even more confusing. Yeah, there will be 4 more. We can probably expect that they're also going to be, the early games in the series, maybe Castlevania 2 on NES, which is apparently a different friggin' game. And I don't know what else, because I don't pay attention to the Castlevania series that much. But there will be 8 games total. They'll probably all be early ones in the series, and then they'll do another 8 of the later games. Which, if they include, Aria of Sorrow and things like that, yeah, I might check that one out. I don't really care about the early Castlevania games, because they're not Metroidvanias. Anyway, the Contra Anniversary Collection will also arrive in early summer, and will also feature 8 games, which they've only announced 4. There's Contra for the arcade, Super Contra for the arcade, Super C?
Yep.
Is that not Super Contra?
It's a different game.
Konami.
Konami. That's Konami for you.
All right, Super C for the NES, and Contra 3: The Alien Wars on SNES. So no Contra 2, huh?
I don't think there is a Contra 2. I think Super Contra is Contra 2, isn't it?
Are you freaking kidding me?
Who knows at this point, even.
Contra 2. Super
Listen,
C is Contra
they're a
2.
Japanese company back then. They didn't have a lot of English, like, experience.
Rename it when you put out an anniversary collection. Make it less confusing to new players, which is the point of putting out these collections.
Oh boy.
Yes,
Then old
Super
players won't know what
C.
they're playing. They're like, "Is this Super C? Why is it Contra?"
Why'd you change Super C? Why'd you
Put
mess
in
it up?
parentheses.
Wonderful. This is
stupid.
wonderful.
This news story is stupid. This celebration by Konami appears to be only the start of the re-release of some of its classics on modern consoles, and will hopefully lead to other collections, including ones that celebrate the beloved Metal Gear franchise. Oh yeah, they made Metal Gear. No wonder they make no sense.
Mm-hmm.
No, but that guy left, and now he's at Sony.
Yeah.
Well, all right. But Metal Gear and Metal Gear Solid aren't the same thing anyway, so that's even more.
No, it's not.
Nope.
Friggin' Konami, man.
Metal Gear.
I love Castlevania, like modern Castlevania games. That's about as far as my enjoyment of Konami goes. That's it. That's all I got.
Remember that old boot up sound for the SNES for Konami?
No.
Oh my god, it's so crisp. He goes.
I don't think I
Oh,
played
yeah.
any Konami games on Super Nintendo.
Their logo thing. The doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. I think I know what you're talking about.
That was so cool. Yeah.
Because that was just like Super Contra and like Super Castlevania 4, right? Like that's pretty much all they had on Super Nintendo.
I don't even remember what games I had. I just
Turtles in
remember the
Time,
screen.
I think, was Konami.
Oh, that's probably actually where I heard it then.
Really?
I think Turtles in Time, I'm pretty sure, was Konami.
Huh. All right.
Weird, I know, but yeah.
Okay, anyway, let's finish up this friggin' news section because it's been a lot.
Yeah, Lowe's
so the final set of stories are about the future of streaming games.
Ooh.
Along with all of the mess of news we got this week with GDC and everything, Google had their own little gaming conference during GDC, I guess, technically, where they announced their efforts in gaming, which even though Google and gaming both start with a G, they called their new system Stadia.
Stadium Arcadia.
So they couldn't just, reuse the G they already have on all their stuff.
How about the game? Game Dia. I don't know.
No. I mean, there was no way to make it work. I'm just saying they already have a G in their logo, and they went with Stadia.
Right. Yeah.
But all cynicism aside, this is not totally a bad thing. I mentioned before, I am fully in the Google landscape.
Ecosystem.
Ecosystem, thank you. I'm whiskey inside down. But even I could kind of see through some of the cracks of this. They're basically saying that, like, you don't have to worry about anything. All of your gaming exists on our data centers. We handle everything. You just get the smooth gaming experience. As if, like, they're providing a service to you. But everyone now... I said all cynicism aside, and then I kind of just, like, jumped back.
Then you just went right back to it.
But they are selling you a service. That's all they're selling you.
I'll get to the good stuff, which was not much of because they didn't show much. This is like over an hour presentation, and they barely showed any gameplay footage. This was a presentation from a company that has not done gaming before, clearly, because it was all about like the service they're providing and the software and hardware that's backing it up, and not about the actual gaming experience itself.
Yeah.
So anyway, basically what they're doing is they've invested in a bunch of data centers around the world that have like crazy good specs, and you are, well, we actually don't really know how it works because they didn't like detail the subscription service or like how much each game costs or, you know, whatever the actual system behind it is. But I assume it's a subscription service. So anywhere you see a game listed, whether it's like, you know, a YouTube video of your favorite streamer like let's playing a game, or a Google link, like if you just type in like a game that you're trying to find, or, you know, on social media, someone talking about a game and like getting a sponsored ad sent at you, you can click a play now button, and within 5 seconds, apparently, it will take you to that game. They showed this off with like Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I think that's the one. Yeah. Where, you know, they're just scrolling through like, oh, this is the new Assassin's Creed game. I wonder what it's like. You click play now, you're in the game. You can use any of your existing controllers, anything like that. There's no hardware because they do everything through the cloud. As long as you have the internet speed that can handle the 1080p 60 frames a second streams that they're shooting for, they want to, you know, they can do like 4K, 8K, whatever. But the average person is going to be do the 1080p. You could just jump right into a game and play it. Like I was talking about my new internet setup with 100 meg internet. I could probably use this no problem. I don't know if I would, unless I was at work where I'd be going off of data and then I wouldn't have those speeds. At home, I would just use Steam or my consoles or whatever else.
Right.
Like, there's not that market for me here. But the point is I could. Like, Thomas, I talked about, you know, wanting to play Division 2, like just out of curiosity. If I had this service, I could just jump into the Division 2 with you through a link. No downloads, no updates, nothing. Just jump right into the game that's stored on their servers and play with you.
Yeah, it's dope.
The concept of that is really cool. I gotta admit, like I was drinking the Kool-Aid at first. They had an on-screen or an on-stage demo, basically going from like a dedicated, like, you know, gaming rig with, of course, the controller they announced, because you have to have a controller, some kind of hardware at least, to sell in stores.
Yeah, they say that it works with all existing devices already. They did. Yeah. But
I'll get back to my on-stage thing. They said that their controller gives you the best experience because it's actually connected through Wi-Fi.
Shit.
It can...
Wi-Fi.
Well, there's a reason. It can actually figure out like what device you're connected to at any given time. So like with another controller, you might have to, you know, plug it in or pair the Bluetooth or whatever. This one, you wake up your computer, the controller's connected to it. Like you're in the game, the controller knows you're in the game. You switch over to a laptop, the controller knows you switch to the laptop, it immediately connects and is in the game again. You switch to your phone, it immediately connects, knows you're in the game. Fancy. So those kind of things are a benefit. It also has a Google Assistant button, which you can use to like look up tips and tricks and stuff. Like you can ask it, hey, how do I beat this section of this game? That part, I don't know how well it'll work. It'll be dependent on if
it'll
that
probably just pull up a
available.
YouTube video, like they said. Right.
Yeah. But it'll be dependent on if that information is available and how good the actual search algorithm is.
Right.
It probably works just as well as typing into Google, like, how to beat level 2 or whatever, you know? Like.
Yeah. But half the time you get Let's Plays and Joe Blow Shouty.
No, that's what they're aiming for is Let's Plays. So they're right on par with that.
But that's not the same thing.
The thing is, like,
there should be like an in-game guide that like just shows you like here, go here, like
no commentary, just here's how to beat this part.
Yeah,
I think what his concern is just like the actual like results, because I know for a fact, like when I use Google Assistant, sometimes like I'll ask Google a certain way and it'll pull up like an article and it'll read like a first chunk of it. Sometimes it'll pull up a video. Sometimes it'll pull up directions, even though I didn't ask for directions anymore. So it's like I guess it just depends on how. I don't know. I guess also the thing is the voice searches and all that crap. You have to like talk to it a certain way or whatever, just so it deciphers what you're saying. So I don't know. This is
I
also
have
Google.
Pixel
So.
3. I never use the Google Assistant.
Never.
Oh,
No, I forget it exists.
I use that all the
I
time.
literally squeeze my phone and it pulls up, and I forget it exists. But anyway, the cool thing that like got me, drinking the Kool-Aid was they had an onstage demo where they jumped from like a high-end gaming rig, using their controller, going from device to device, over to a tablet, I think, and then to like a TV with a Chromecast connected, and then to what they said was the lowest spec laptop they could find, or lowest spec PC they could find, and then to a phone. And each of these devices, the game just picked up right where they left off. Like, they ran a little bit in Assassin's Creed Odyssey again. That's pretty much the only game they showed. Only full game, at least. They'd run a little bit, like, climb a wall or whatever, and then jump to the next device. And it would be like, boom, here's where you were at the top of this wall. And that was super cool. Like, the concept of that was super cool. Mm-hmm. But also, like, how does that work if you're just playing on a phone without the controller? Is it going to be a good experience? Probably not.
That's a good point.
And, like, if I'm playing on mobile, I don't have a controller in my pocket or anything.
Right.
So, like, if I'm away from home and don't have my games with me, it's on mobile without a controller. So, like, there's a market for this, for sure. Like, kids that, don't have the nice stuff that we might have, or the consoles or whatever, there's a market. But then they're still going to be paying for subscription service that's probably at least on par with the Xbox Game Pass, like $10 a month. Probably more. I'd say 15 or 20 just for the streaming experience they provide. And if it's catering towards kids and like the on-the-move lifestyle people, how much value are they going to get out of that? And if they're focusing on you have to have these data speeds, are they really catering to people that don't have Wi-Fi, like that are out on data? Because you're not going to get that. You're not going to get the consistency at least. So then you're at home on good Wi-Fi, streaming a game on your PC that could own that game.
Yeah, that's a different conversation. Is game ownership versus rental.
Yeah. So it's just a weird thing. Like, if this is the future of gaming, fine. It's neat.
Like, I don't even own all the digital games that I have on Steam. Like, the 900 whatever games, I don't own those. I just have the license to play them.
Well, that's fair.
That could be gone.
Well, when they put a game from Steam, you don't lose access to it. No one new could buy it. This would be different. This would be like the Netflix of Steam.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you can play through a game, and it's like, oh, here's all the things leaving Stadia this month. It's like, but I'm still playing that.
Well, then buy it.
It's a little different. Yeah. I'm basically saying I trust Google with all of my gaming information.
Right.
And I don't know if I'm ready to do that.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like,
great, but I don't know if I'm ready to commit that deeply to a data center out who knows where.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's some pretty out there DRM, I must say.
Yeah, and the fact that like they have it where it picks up where you left off, like that's Google tracking you where you're going too. Nope. So
that's tracking every second of your gameplay.
Yeah.
And they said at any given time you can hit the share button and save like 4K footage that they pull. Like, even if you're not getting 4K footage to your device because of restrictions or whatever, they're saving that raw 4K footage from their data center and like putting it on your YouTube page, either private, unlisted, public, whatever, for you to do whatever you want with.
What?
See,
they have total control.
This sounds super scary, but also really cool.
You can't have both. You can't have security and cool things.
Right, it's true. It's true. Oh man!
What was that quote from like Benjamin Franklin? Like, whoever gives up security and wants liberty can't have either. So, if you want to give up security, you can't have cool things. Or I don't know. I'm a little tipsy right now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Benjamin Franklin was actually talking about Stadia.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was
Yeah, no, he knew, man.
Yeah,
Tapped
he
into
had
the
a little
multiverse.
key with the kite, and he was seeing the future.
Yep.
Yeah, this sounds really cool, but also frightening. Also, like there was a quote in that Ars Technica thing saying, Google has expressed interest in and support for cross-platform play. Company insisted that its cloud-based platform will not be vulnerable to cheating or hacking due to multiplayer instances that aren't exposed to the quote-unquote the public internet. We'll have
Public internet, huh?
yeah, the
Ooh.
public internet. We'll
Ooh.
have to wait to see how big console
The
PC
Googleverse.
platforms react to Google's call for cross-platform support.
So probably like people that use VPNs and stuff to hide themselves would still be able to get past it.
I read that as like Google
yeah.
has their own internet that they're using for this.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
I think that basically just means as long as they can track it, they can stop it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So people will always hide. They know ways to,
yeah,
deepen their own security and get around it. But theoretically, they wouldn't be allowed on Google service then. You have to accept the terms and everything, just like anything else unsafe on the internet. Ever read those terms? Probably not.
No one does.
Yeah, exactly. You just accept it and complain when they take all your data.
Right.
Like, you agreed for them to take your data.
I've given up, man. Like,
yeah.
Big Brother's here. It's us.
There are some other really neat things here. Potentially. They announced that they've started their own first-party studio called Stadia Games and Entertainment, and that first-party titles are very important to their business model, which makes me wonder why they're just now doing it when they're announcing the console with barely any publisher relationships yet.
Right.
This is supposed to release this year, y'all. I don't know about that. They showed very little that shows that they're ready to release. Aside from, hey, we got the technology figured out.
Didn't they also say like Unreal Engine, like
they have several engines that will be supporting it. Yeah, which is cool. Just no actual
thing
titles.
that uses Vulkan.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see more Vulkan because the only game I really know of that actually uses that system is Doom. Doom 2016.
Which they did announce Doom Eternal's coming. They showed some footage from that too.
Yeah,
it was at conference. Who has time for game footage during a games conference?
Right?
No.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
But anyway. I'm a little cynical about this because I was watching the entire conference and it was over an hour and they barely showed any games footage at the games conference. It was stupid.
I didn't watch it.
I was fascinated by what they were talking about. It just was a very bad games conference.
It sounds dope though, and
yeah,
if this is coming this year, we also have like Xbox's thing coming up, and wasn't announced for this year, so maybe they'll. Like it seems like it's going to be Google versus Xbox for the next big boy console war. I guess I don't know.
Game streaming.
Yeah, game stream.
Like as far as that's concerned, I'd say it's those two. But
whose stream is bigger?
Yeah. And then they also showed off a few other features like state share, which lets you basically like save a moment from your game and share it with other people through a link. And if they click the link and go to the game through Stadia, so, other people that are subscribed or whatever to this service, they can pull up exactly where you saved that state and play your run.
Interesting.
So you could say like, hey, beat my high score and send out a link to all your followers on social media. And they can click on that and it reads the UI of the game and everything and like figures out where you were and then creates a new instance of that for whoever clicks on the link so they can run it too. So think of it like ghost races in a racing game.
Yeah.
But with real people. And they can share theirs too, like, I beat you, here's my run. Using the capture button to share their footage and things. So it's going to make a very like connected creator-based gaming future, which makes sense. That's where we're headed. But it is kind of a cool feature. I just wonder how like useful it's going to be. Like, you know, if you obviously they're doing first party and some third party and stuff like that. They're not going to like use Nintendo games. But this is what I think of. Like something like Breath of the Wild, where it's like you can have an instance in the game, but it could be totally, you know, different scenario where it's like you know, based on what you've done is why you would be there. Like it can't read everything and know exactly what your instance is. But the example they used was like a little shoot 'em up game where it can just figure out the UI and generate. So we'll have to see how well that actually works.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I have a like this past week I had a real case scenario for something like this, which was my cousin. He bought a gaming PC like 10 years ago or something. And he's been having it chugging along this whole time, and then it finally shut down on him. We were trying to play the Division together, and so he brought his PC over here so my dad could fix it, and he just like sold him his old parts. But if like since Ubisoft is back in this, he could have just logged on to Stadia and just like played with us that way, and he would have had like other titles to play with and around with as well, because he likes playing games. He just doesn't play a lot of games, you know. So.
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely a novelty here to like the every user that like, you know, can't afford $1,000 gaming computer, but can buy like a $200 laptop at Walmart and pay like $15 a month for this service, and it works just like if they had $1,000 gaming laptop or gaming computer, or like, you know, if I traveled more or something like that, and I took my laptop around everywhere because I have a laptop, I just never use it because I don't need to. So like if I was in a hotel every night, I could be like, hey boys, you know, what are we playing? And like just jump into Stadia and like play some Division 2 with you in the hotel. Which again, the internet there would be terrible, so that's not a real example. But I'm just saying, like, those are the scenarios where it would work. But to the person that would probably like stay up on Stadia, they wouldn't need it. They need to market outside of their, you know, their obvious audience.
That's where you start, right? Early adopters and hardcore people, and then you build out from there. Yeah, cool shit, but also very frightening.
Could be cool, scary. Could lead to Skynet. We don't really know at this point. But what's even weirder is our final story. I'm just going to read this headline. In wake of Google, wow. In wake of Google Stadia, reports suggest Walmart is exploring a game streaming service.
No, they aren't.
They probably aren't. And even if they could, it would not compare to Google. Like, I don't know why they would even try. They're like, oh man, Stadia? That actually sounds real cool. We're just going to stop. I think. Let's just not. But realistically, all of the computers that you're going to get that can run, you know, that will run Stadia, you're going to buy from Walmart. Let's be honest. They excel at the crappy $200 laptop. So why not sell the subscription with the laptop? But just, you know, partner. Anyway, it says anonymous sources familiar with Walmart's plans have said that the idea allegedly has been in the works since earlier this year, with Walmart supposedly continuing the conversation with various contacts at GDC. Google is certainly in a better position to make a success of such a streaming service due to the amount of servers and computer power at its disposal. But Walmart's Area 71 data center in Missouri, shout out, reportedly holds over 460 trillion bytes of data, and the company has Walmart Labs, its tech-centric offices located in Silicon Valley, championing the brand's digital presence.
This news story is only here for Missouri, shout out.
It's not here for that. No, the joke here, like just to end this story off, because this is nothing. There's no information here. The joke is that if all else fails and Google Stadia doesn't work in my area, at least Walmart has a data center in Missouri, so I can rely on them.
It's close by.
Yeah. You know?
It doesn't have to travel that far.
It's true. It is really weird, like, you know, how big Walmart is, because it started in Arkansas, but all of the founders are like local.
What?
Like, they are, yeah. Kroenke, like the current like owner of Walmart, owns most of Columbia, Missouri.
What?
Like most
Oh,
of the
wow.
buildings there and stuff like that are his that he rents out.
Wow.
He's also the one that just moved the St. Louis Rams over to Los Angeles. So even if he wasn't a scummy person already, he's dead to me. He took a lot of the economic boost out of St. Louis, which was already struggling.
Oh man.
He basically owns most of Missouri and then just pulled like a good portion of his business out because it was more profitable for him.
Jeez.
He's the worst. But Walmart is still a major economic boost for the state. So, you know, if this gets like more jobs and stuff here, sure, let them do it. Compete with Google. Why not? I'd be curious. I wouldn't try it, but competition is a good thing.
It would only have like those really shitty indie games that are on sale for like 25 cents.
Yeah, it's the bargain bin service.
Yeah, exactly.
But it could play the crap out of Fallout 76.
Oh, sick burn.
All right.
Oof.
All right, and okay. You gonna end
I
the
was
show?
It's you now.
That's it.
Justin, where can the people find your stuff?
They
Why didn't you
can-
just throw it at me? What's wrong with you?
I said, let's end this.
Okay, all
I
right.
was throwing it at you. Sorry you didn't catch it. It's not my fault. You can find me if you look up Zero Score on Twitter or YouTube or Twitch. I am actually going to start streaming in the near future after I get rid of this cough that I've got going on.
Nice.
I put out a poll, and my voice has been kind of raspy. I noticed when I was editing the video that I'm working on, I was like, oof, I sounded pretty congested. But it's fine. It's just audio. But yeah, I put out a poll of like what people would want me to play, based on just some urges I'd had recently. Because you got to like what you're streaming, or else you're not going to finish it. And I guess I'm gonna start up Mario RPG.
Nice.
And that'll be fun.
I was surprised at how close that poll was.
Yeah, I really thought it was going to be 50-50, and then I was going to be super annoyed. But it was like 49-51. It was really weird.
Yeah.
So, I talked recently about like wanting, the curiosity of restarting Breath of the Wild, because I haven't actually like played the beginning of it since launch. And I was like, I wonder if like I was just blown away by like how it felt the first time, or if I actually enjoyed the game. Because like I tried to go back to Skyward Sword and I couldn't really do it. Like I enjoy the game, but the motion controls ruined it for me. So I was like, is Breath of the Wild actually a good game? And so I do want to try it again sometime. But the Mario video that I had made before renewed my itch for Mario RPG. And then now the video I'm making now, which I will also promote real quick, also has some talk about like Mario RPG games in general, because I guess I'm on a trend. And so it made me want to play it even more because I'm like, seeing some of my favorite parts. And I'm like, man, I love that stuff. So yeah, I'm excited to get into that. My smart lights are set to turn off at 10:30.
Ah, gotcha.
I forgot that I have that set on weekends too.
They definitely work, so there's that.
They do. All right. The only other time that's happened when I didn't mean it to was during D&D one night. Anyway. So yeah, point is I'm going to be streaming some Mario RPG in the next few weeks. Start that up. I don't have a schedule or anything yet, but just, follow me and wait for that. Hit that little bell for notifications so that you know when I go live, blah, 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 all that good stuff. But I also am working on a short little editorial video about why the Cadence of Hyrule game is so important, as Nintendo proves that it's willing to like outsource its IPs more. So that was kind of a fun little like deep dive. I actually did some research into some of their like business opinions in the past and how they've changed now and things like that. So I'm trying to get more into that like in-depth, like editorial type stuff instead of just sharing my stupid opinions. So yeah, there's that.
Hello.
You guys can find me on Twitter at Nero the Hero, N3R0, THEH3R0. You can also find me on YouTube and Nero the Hero, all with letters. And you guys can find me here doing the Charge Shot thing with the Charge Shot boys.
And you
Pew
can
pew.
find me, your host, Thomas, on Twitter, CSG Thomas on Twitter. You can also email me, thomas@chargeshot.com. You can also visit our website, chargeshot.com. All of our social media links are there. You can visit our YouTube page from there. When we stream this, we go live 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday nights. And you can leave us a review on all of the podcast networks out there, such as iTunes, Stitcher. And until then, guys, enjoy your games.
You guys
Bye.
always make me feel bad for taking like 5 minutes to plug myself.
I was going to say something, but
About plugging myself?
yes.